So this is a traditional exhibit on the Indian feudatory state of Indore. We start off with the first stamp of Indore. Uh, this stamp was actually printed, well, based on my research, I believe there were at least 5 different stones used to print these stamps. Uh, could be as many as 9, but definitely as few as 5, based on my study and research and the different measurements that I have come up with. And here's the actual chart that shows uh, the different printings. There are definitely 9 printings using no less than 5 stones. The very first printing is on very thick paper and a very distinct shade of bright mauve. We've got usages over here. We've got a beautiful inshore letter over here, which you can see multiple copies have been pasted on top of each other. And then below that we have a registered letter with a regular block of 7. Then we move on to the second printing, which is also on thick paper, but it's a distinct shade of dull mauve. And we have a very interesting letter that was, even though it's franked with obviously Indore stamps, the sender accidentally dropped it in the imperial letter box, and it was charged postage due. On the back side of the cover you can see there's the British India postage due strike. It was handed back to the state post, and the letter was then processed by the state post. Then we get to the third printing. This again is on thick paper as well, and this is in mauve. I believe that this printing was done twice, once on thick and then later on thin paper. We move on to the further printings. This is printing 4. Got a beautiful large block. Printing 5. Large multiples, unused multiples from this issue are extremely difficult to come across. We've got printing 6. Printing 7 is very interesting, because if you look at the measurements of the stamps, it's definitely for a unique stone, because the stamps have different measurements, the height of the stamps. And I think that may have been a result from the transfer. Then we get to printing 8, which is probably the most interesting, because these were produced using 7 different cliches, transfers. And you can see the arrangement of the transfers: 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 on the first row, and then 7 all across. It's a very, very interesting layout of the sheet. I don't have a complete sheet, but I've done a partial reconstruction. I have a complete half sheet and then a reconstructed bottom half. So that's the first issue. This was, of course, printed by Waterlow, and subsequently, after that, the order was placed with Waterloo for the half-anna stamps, but to meet the demand and shortage of stamps, a design that is very similar to the revenue stamp was used to produce stamps as a temporary, to fill the temporary shortage of stamps. What I have discovered, which is not yet listed anywhere recorded, is this actually comes on 2 different papers. The paper The normal paper has peacock embossing, which I show over here in the design. But I have discovered a paper which is different in texture, color, and the embossing is entirely different. And this stamp comes in two different dyes, dye 1 and dye 2. Dye 1 is much scarcer. This is the second largest known unused multiple of dye 1. And it's just a block of 4. Got a beautiful cover with a strip of 4 and a strip of 3 on a registered cover. Then we go to the dye 2 on the paper that we just talked about, the 1880 8 SEST embossing. This is very interesting because if you notice, the stamps are Tedbetch and sideways. I've got a little diagram over here. So most of the stamps are facing upright, with the exception of the last row, which are all facing down. And then these two, this one's facing to the left, and this one's facing down, yielding a few Tedbetch and Tedbetch pairs. Then we have the normal paper, which is with the peacock embossing on the two corners over here. This whole sheet is, the left pane, the stamps are pointing upwards, but the right pane, the stamps are all pointing downwards, yielding 8 Tedbetch pairs right here. Here we have a beautiful registered cover. This happens to be the largest known used multiple of dye 2. And here we have a cover which is a combination of dye 1 and dye 2 stamps used on the same cover. This is the only one that I know of. If you can see, these 3 stamps are dye 1, these 2 are dye 2, and these 2 are dye 1. Then we come to the next issue, the Waterlow issue. We have dye-proof color trial. We have the, so this comes in multiple different perforations. We have perforation 14, 14 and a half, compound perf of 14, 14 and a half, per 15. And this is discovered, not previously recorded in any catalog, per 15 and a half. Then we have imperf between vertical pairs in 2 different shades. A single normal usage used on a registered postcard and used on a registered letter. Then we get to the quarter anna. The half anna was actually issued first, and then quarter anna was issued later in 1892 versus 1889. Here we have the dye proof. We have a composite die with the 3 different denominations: quarter anna, 1 anna, and 2 annas. The half anna, of course, was produced earlier, so this is the composite die. Here we have imperf between horizontal pairs in 2 different shades. Then we get to the 1 anna denomination. Again, and it comes in perf 14 and a half, compound perf. Here we have a horizontal pair where the stamps are imperf between. And we come to the 2 anna denomination. So there was a shortage of quarter anna stamps, quarter anna being the postcard rate. So there was excess stock of the half anna, which was surcharged pow anna, meaning quarter anna. This is quite an early usage. It's used in 29th May 1905, and it was issued on 27th May 1905, so that's just 2 days after it was issued. Now we come to the next issue. This is the quarter anna. Here we have the die-proof, composite die-proof. So obviously at some point they contemplated printing a bicolor stamp. And my guess is it was never produced because costs would have been prohibitive. And we have the 1 anna. I've got the different die proofs, and I've got an imperf pair. And then we have the 2 annas in the same denomination. And then 3 annas for the same series. Again, issued in 2 different perfs. Perf 14 first, the later printings were issued in perf 13.5. And then 4 annas. Now we come to Maharaja Yashwant Rao Holkar issue. These were now printed by Perkins Bacon. Here we have the actual photograph. And we have a progressive die proof of just the head without the background lines. Now we have the background lines added. This is the final stage of engraving, and here's the die proof of. And then we have a progressive die proof with the blank boxes, name of the state or the denomination not being there. Hasn't been engraved yet. So we start up with the quarter anna from this issue. This has the word Pao Anna written in manuscript over here in the design. Now this is with the value has now been added. Progressive proofs. And then we get to the final proof. Perkins Bacon maintained sheets in their stock which was numbered 000, 000 on the top right corner of the sheet, and they overprinted with the word, not overprint, sorry, perforated with the word specimen, and also another sheet again with numbers 000, but also perforated, cancelled. These stamps were issued in 3 different perfs at least, 13.2, 13.6, and 14.2. Now we have half anna, the same denomination. Again, at some point it was contemplated to issue a bicolor stamp, but I think for cost reasons they went with the single color stamp. So it was printed in one operation. Then we have the 1 anna of the same series. And then we have the 1 1/4 anna from the same series. Sadly, the number 000 sheet number would have been right here on the corner stamp margin on top, but somebody removed that one stamp. Here we have the same series now, 2 annas. But here you can finally see the sheet number 000 at the top right corner. And the stamps are perforated, cancelled. Then we have 2 annas now, the 2 annas in bluish green. For some strange reason, the state ordered a certain specific quantity of this 2 anna and a couple other denominations, but they ordered the sheets imperforate. Why, we have not been able to understand or figure out, but there's a note that reads 10 sheets of each of the 2 annas, 3 annas, 3.5 annas, and 4 annas values as imperforated and ungummed. Please note that the imperforated stamp sheets of the values 2, 3, 3.5, and 4 annas should be sent in one packet marked imperforated on the outer cover of the packet, stating also the denominations on the cover. We still don't know why the state requested that from Perkins Bacon, but there we are. 3 annas in deep violet, 3 annas in Prussian blue, we come to the 3.5 annas violet. This proof says shade only, as amended by state. So at some point the state had decided that the 3.5 annas was going to be in this red color, but eventually it was done in the violet color. Then we come to the 4 annas in ultramarine. Four annas in brown. This is again one of those stamps where they had ordered imperforate sheets. Here we have a block of 4 that is used, imperforate used. 8 annas in slate gray. Eight annas in red orange. And then 12 annas in carmine. This has the word bara, not even anna, just bara, meaning 12 in Hindi, in pencil. Then we come to the rupee values. The rupee values are printed as in bicolor, with the head always printed in black and the frame in different color. These are the progressive die proofs. Of the head, and then here's an artist essay of the layout of the stamp that's done in hand and in ink. Then we have proofs of the dies of the frame. And again, as you can see, perforated, cancel with the sheet number 000. And we have the 2 rupees in the same set. And we have the 5 rupees. I have never seen a cover with any of the rupee values. Actually, I haven't seen any covers with any denomination beyond 4 annas, so I haven't seen anything with 8 annas or 12 annas or and up. So there was a big shortage of again the lower denomination stamps, quarter anna being the postcard rate. There was shortage of quarter anna stamps, and I think there was a massive stock of leftover of the rupee values. So they surcharged the 5 rupee stamps down to quarter annas. This only one sheet was accidentally overprinted in two colors, in green and black. It was first overprinted in green by mistake, and then they overprinted in black again. Then we have the 2 rupees on half anna on 2 rupees, and then we have the 1 anna on 1 and a quarter anna. Now we come to the next issue. Now these stamps are now, from here on out, these were now printed by Times of India Press instead of being printed in England by Perkins Bacon. This is a new discovery. It's not yet listed in any catalog. This was discovered. It's the unique sheet, part sheet. This is missing the last three rows, but it's most certainly unique. Here now we have the half anna, and here we have an imperfect block of 8 again. This being the discovery block, not yet listed in any catalog or literature. And we have the 1 anna. And we have the 1 and a quarter anna, and this is also from the unique sheet of 80, the imperfect pair. And we have the 2 annas, the 4 annas, and the rupee values were only 2 rupees and 5 rupees, no 1 rupee stamp in the set. Now we come to official stamps, or printed service. Here we have a proof impression of the complete sheet. And we have the half anna with the service overprint. A bunch of different errors. This in pair without an overprint. This is overprint double. This is overprint inverted, and this is imperfect. This has perfect specimen on it. This is really interesting. This is a different type of overprint. It's the largest known multiple of the stamp with the overprint double. Then we have the 1 anna. Then we have discovered this with a overprint double. The service overprint isn't doubled. And this is an error where the service overprint was shifted up only on one sheet, so the bottom stamp doesn't have an overprint, but the rest of the stamps do. Only one sheet exists that was cut up, and so it's only 8 possible copies of this error can exist. We come to the 3 annas. 4 hours with service over print. And that's the entire story of Indore. Thank you very much.